Hi, my name is Curtis. I'm here with IET, and today we're going to go over how to install a tensioner assembly kit for our compact unit. The tools you'll need for this job is an 1/8 inch Allen key, some needle nose pliers, and a vise clamp or a clamp of any sorts. You'll also need a number 2 Phillips head bit, either on an impact or a screwdriver, anything of that sort. This is what will come to you if you order a tensioner assembly. You open it up. These 4 screws are to replace the motor, but we're not doing that today, so we'll set those to the side. These parts, this is the main gear that goes on the drive. This is the spacer that keeps the tensioner spaced away at the right distance. This is the spring that holds tension against everything. And this is the actual tensioner assembly. On a standard compact unit, the single pole breaker controls the 120 power within the unit. When you flip on the single pole breaker, it will allow your wheel to spin as well as the other 120 circuit components, allowing you to do maintenance on the rotor wheel. So the first step in this process is to remove the chain. So you'll have to spin the wheel until the master link is at a workable position. So this guy right here is your master link. You can identify it because it'll have a little C-clip around one side of it. Now that the master link's in good position, you're going to take your needle nose and push. Once you got it pushed up a little bit, you're just going to kind of get that clip off. Next, you'll want to take off the rest of the master link. You just kind of pinch that side off and then just pull the actual link out. And your chain will just pretty much fall out at that point. So now we need to make the sprocket on the drive spin to where I can get the set screws out. So your first set screw is going to come around, and then your second one should be right behind it. And we just killed power to the motor, so now we can safely work on it. You'll just loosen these guys up, and it will slide right off, as well as this. And the spacer. Now finally, in order to take the spring off, you got to remove this one screw. This is a number 2 Phillips bit. So this is the bare product without any chain or the tensioner assembly on the gear motor. So the first step in reassembling it is you're going to want to take your spacer and slide it over the drive shaft. And then you'll take your spring and one of your screws and put back into this hole, and you'll just tighten it up. Next, you're going to install your tensioner and let it rest on the spring in this little channel. For the time being now, we're going to unhook our wires so we have space to attach our main gear. You want one of these set screws to be in line with the flat side of the drive. And you'll take your clamp and clamp it on there. You want your clamp to be tight enough to where it's not going to move too easily, but not too tight to damage the drive or the sprocket. So next, we're going to tighten up the set screws on our main sprocket. You're going to want to do the set screw that's in line with the flat side of the drive first, so that you'll lock in that position. You're going to want to give it a good turn to keep it tight. And then next, we'll do the other set screw. The same thing, you want it nice, tight. Now the last step is to feed your chain back over the wheel. You'll need something to reach up under the rotor. I like to use needle nose to grab the chain and pull it back through. So right now I'm holding the chain at the top and the bottom. I'll take the bottom part, I'll lay it over the tensioner sprocket and pull it under the main sprocket, and then toss the rest of that chain back over the tensioner sprocket, and I can pull down to give as much slack as I need. And I'll grab my master link and place it in the top, and then pick back up on the bottom and slide that in. Now you'll take this piece and put it over those two studs. You put it nice and tight, and you'll take your clip and you'll place it over the top sprocket and line it up with the bottom. And then you'll take your pliers and just click it down. So now that the chain is attached again, you're going to push down on your sprocket to give yourself as much slack in order to line the chain back up with the teeth. So you can go ahead and put the chain back over this first tooth and this bottom tooth. When you let off of the sprocket, it'll hold them in place. Now in order to align it with the last tooth, we'll have to put power back to it. Turn the power on. Now that this last tooth is in a good position, we can kill the power and unhook our wires for a second. And then again, we'll push down on our tensioner to give us some more slack. We'll just pick this chain up and lay it over that tooth. Give your wheel a little shake to make sure everything's set right. All right, so this is the full assembly. We got the tensioner pushing down on the spring that's connected to the drive. The spacers in there keeping the tensioner at the right distance to hit all the teeth. And the main sprocket is on the drive that will pull the chain. We have the chain reattached. We're gonna let the rotor spin for about 10 minutes to make sure everything is working correctly and was installed correctly. And that's all there is to installing a tensioner assembly kit. For more information, go to dehumidifiers.com.